Tuesday Talk pretty much just a platform. We talk about issues that we feel are important to us, issues that we feel like may need some attention brought to, issues that you want to talk about, issues that we want to talk about. We think talking is therapeutic. So what we do is we talk about things. Kyle and Nakaya, hey, how's it going? How's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for joining. We talk about the issues that we feel need to be talked about. We think talking is therapeutic. You know, in no form or fashion do we think we're life coaches or therapists or anything like that. We just feel that we use this platform to pretty much bring awareness to some things, and that's what we do. So if you haven't saw the title of the show in the headline, tonight's show is Out with the Old, In with the New. You know, a lot of people. Yeah, you know what? A lot of people do the New Year, New Me. We talk about all this stuff.
That'll never get played out. They'll always say that.
So what do you think about that? That's what the topic is tonight. That's what we're gonna talk about. Y'all make sure y'all weigh in too. Y'all resolutions and what y'all think about those things and everything. But I'm gonna start with Lola. Oh, we didn't even introduce ourselves. It's been a while.
I know.
All right. So my name is Live to Contribute. Like I said, it's been a while. We rusty, y'all.
And I'm Lola Pearl.
It's been a while. Lola Pearl, co-host every week. K Mitch is out. She just got an important phone call. She had to hear it. Look, people coming already. They're tired of hearing it. All right, so out with the old, in with the New Year's resolution. What do you think about that?
I think people just do say that to make themselves feel good. I don't know. It's weird to me. It's like enough already. I'm sick of hearing it too. I'm with you all.
But what? Do you feel like people can, like, that's a new beginning? So people start off with new beginnings. They feel like it's the first of the year. Do you think that they're lying? Like, do you think that they're just saying it?
I think some have good intentions. Like, I know for myself, I don't say it because, like, I have this new thing. I'm going to work out. I'm going to lose weight. Weeks down the line, I stop.
You stop. So I'm going to talk about that a little later. So what about y'all? So the people said, J Square says she's tired of it. Taria T says she's sick of it already. We're only on day like 5. What's today? The 5th? We only on like day 5 or 6. Y'all tired of it already. So they said people are just lying. People just want to fit in. Do you really think? So let me ask y'all out there. Do you all not make resolutions? It's a new year. So what do you do to get yourself ready for the new year? And what like type? If you're not gonna make a New Year's resolution, then how do you go about setting yourself up for the new year?
You know what? For me, I just write down goals. You know that I want to hit. I want to do this. I mean, hopefully I hit it. If I don't, you know, next year I'll try to do it. So
well, J Square says she don't think that you have to wait a whole year to do better. I don't think that's what people are doing. I don't think people are trying to wait a whole year to do better.
Some do though. Some do. Say, I'm going to wait.
She said, I set goals and I take things one day at a time.
Right.
I think it is important to take things one day at a time. Yeah. But what do you say to the people, or why is it the people who don't do that? I mean, that's maybe what you do, just where it's kind of what I do as well. But the people who don't do those type of things, shouldn't they have to start somewhere? So isn't the first of the year the best place to start?
It is, but down the line, like I say, it crumbles. They end up not even doing it. I don't think so.
Just Calvin Kai said, I don't think so. It's just a way to start somewhere. No. And
on a diet.
They use it as a marking point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think like Kelly, I'm never gonna learn your name, Kelly, on here. Kelly, I think is right. People use that as a marking point. So is it unfair for us, or the people who are tired of it, to say, I don't want to hear that this year? They're just using it as a marking point to pretty much say that this is what my goals are for the year. So let me ask y'all. So the new year came in, then what are you going to do differently out there? What are you going to do differently? This is a new year. So at what point do you say, I'm going to do this differently from what I did in 2015?
For me now, I just want to focus on being a better parent, getting a better job, taking care of my child, you know, and having a closer relationship with God, like it is every year. I just hope to get better.
Do you actually need a new year to start anything?
You don't.
Because this is what I want to know. For the people who say, is there anybody who's watching that actually believe in New Year's resolution? And if so, what is your New Year resolution?
I think the New Year resolution thing is just a trend. It's somewhat of a trend. People just...
J Square says she been going to church.
What are your Do you have any New Year resolutions, or are you?
You know what?
Type?
I don't make New Year's resolution.
Okay.
I don't make New Year's resolution because I agree with J Squared in saying that
Yeah.
I just try to be better every day.
Right.
However, I do understand the people who start something in. It's an end to something. So if a new year ends, I do think that people have the right to say, like Kelly said, it's the marking point. So I do think people have the right to say, I'm going to do this. There's nothing wrong with saying that. The thing that I think happened with New Year's resolution is that people don't make it a declaration. It's more of a, this is what I want to do. And I think that if you're going to have a goal, it has to be a declaration. It can't be a, I want this. It has to be, this is what I'm going to do. Because when you say I want this, you give yourself the leeway, or you give yourself...
Before you know it, it'd be the next year.
Exactly.
You be saying it all over again.
So much freedom to not do what you want to do.
Absolutely.
But when you make something a declaration and you say that this is what I'm going to do, this is going to be my goal, then you keep that somewhere in the back of your mind. Right. And at some point you realize that, you know what, I said I'm going to do this, so I have to do it. So I don't necessarily make a New Year's resolution, but I do have new goals for this year. 2015 has ended, and there's some things that I wasn't necessarily happy with in 2015. So I did make some new goals. So do you think making new goals, to you out there who's watching, do you think making new goals is the same as a resolution?
Goals is something that you want to
Lady T says no. J Square says yes. Colin Nakai says yes.
But J Square, if resolution is just like it never falls through. It's just something like, it's a trend to me. People just say it just to be saying it. It never falls through.
So they all said that they think goals are the same thing. Even J Squared is saying yes. But J Squared said don't make a resolution, but she thinks that making goals is the same thing as a resolution.
So you don't make goals? I'm confused.
J Squared said I take it day by day. Okay, J Squared. So let me just ask you specifically, because J Squared she's consistently on, I take it day by day, and that's perfectly fine, because I don't think there's anything wrong with taking it day by day. But when you take stuff day by day, it's almost like you're winging things. So at what point do you, J Squared, for the person who takes it day by day, at what point do you make out a plan or make a goal? Because I think that the people who are making resolutions, that's more of their goal. So they're kind of like writing a roadmap, or they're writing an outline to what they want to be for the year. You make Lady T says you make goals all day, every day. It's a trend now. Just do better to start over. You do make goals all day, every day, and there's nothing wrong with that, Lady T. But at some point, a resolution sounds to me more like something you can break.
You can't break?
Setting a goal is making a plan in hopes that it falls into place.
Right.
That's what Colin Nakai said. You can break anything. You can break a goal. You can break a resolution. Right. So I guess what I'm asking is, for the people who's out there who's saying Lady T says she takes it day by day. J Square says she takes it day by day. But at what point do you... Because I think when you have a vision, then there's more of a kind of like a detailed outline of what you're going to do to make that vision come true. So for the people who are making resolutions, they're saying that this is my vision for the beginning of the year. So why are we so upset with people who just have a vision? Is it because we think they're lying, or because we're saying that at somewhere along those lines they're going to break it?
It's a little bit of both.
But my thing is that the people who are making the goals day by day, as in like J Squared is saying, or even Lady T is saying, don't those people break their goals? So
they do, but like I said, it seemed like everybody get into this. They waiting for the new year to do things. Just do things at that time, at that moment. You don't need a New Year's resolution to make a resolution. Like
Lady T says, she thinks goals are more likely to be met more so than a resolution.
True. Right.
Do you think that?
Yeah, that's true. I agree with
this is what happened. Maybe this is what it is. Maybe.
But that's their business.
I think the word resolution is just played out. That's what J Square said, and I don't want to use it. So do you think that it's cliche to say I'm making a New Year resolution? Let me tell y'all something though. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, people do break resolutions.
They do.
And then people don't accomplish goals. So I'm going to go out on a limb to the people like Lady T, the people like J Squared, and say there's some people who made a resolution at the beginning of 2015 that completed that resolution by the end of 2015. You made some goals because you're taking it day by day.
That you didn't
accomplish. So it may be cliche, but we're so quick to say, the New Year's resolution is played out, and we don't like the word resolution. There are some people that take it seriously, though.
It is, but just the whole New Year, new me, all this, I don't know. It just becomes tiring. I don't know.
Okay.
I just get so sick of everybody saying it, like, go ahead, do what you got to do, be a better person, do whatever.
So this is what.
I'm just sick of the whole New Year, new me thing. Like, shut up.
So this is what I want to ask. Okay, so we're all in the new year. What is this? The 5th day?
Yeah.
We're the fifth day. We're the 5th day into the new year. Okay, so you don't want a resolution. So what I would like to ask everyone out there, because if you're not going to make a resolution, that's perfectly fine. But what are you going to do differently from 2015 into 2016? Since you didn't make a resolution, what are those goals going to be? How are you going to make sure that those goals get accomplished? Because people break resolution and people don't accomplish goals. So what are you going to do specifically that's different than what you did in 2015? And what are you going to do?
I mean, it's a number of things that I want to do differently that I have in my head that I didn't necessarily write down and that I plan to accomplish. So,
well, what you said just brings up a great point for me. J Square said, "I'm afraid of failure, but I'm okay with that." Well, there's nothing wrong with being afraid of failure, but failure is a part of life. So I don't think that you can go through with life trying to shield yourself from failure. Everyone who's successful then failed many of times. So if you're ever going to be successful in this life, J Squared, then you have to get comfortable with failure, because failure is a part of success. I don't think there's anyone who has success without failure. And Tarichi just said the same thing, that failure is a part of the success. I don't think that you can have one without the other. But going back to my point to what you said is that you didn't write it down. This is what I'm going to do differently. You know what? In 2015, I'm just going to speak about me personally, and I'm going to give y'all almost like Tisha Nance, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the show. It's your first time, I think. So welcome to the show. I really appreciate that. This is what I'm going to do differently, and I'm just going to give my own personal testimony. I'm not going to preach to y'all or nothing. But in 2015, and this is what I think separates resolutions from goals and from everything else. I think you can make a resolution, and I think that you can make a goal. The only thing that makes you accomplish either is when you become fed up with not accomplishing them. So in 2015, I think what happened to me is that I got to the point to where I was dissatisfied with myself. Everything was perfectly fine. I have good friends, good wife, kids are good, all of that. But I still was waking up days and I was not happy. And I was actually talking to Kay about this a little bit earlier. Okay. What happened with me, I almost felt like I was battling depression. I felt like I battled depression so much in 2015. And the reason that I wanted to do this show is because people get discouraged when they didn't make their resolution, or people get discouraged when they didn't accomplish their goal. Right. Yes, it's a new you, it's a new me. But what I have to encourage you to do is get tired of yourself. Right. Because I think in 2015 what happened to me is that I've been tired of myself. And I'm not one for letting people around me pretty much influence how I act, or people around me make me feel a certain type of way. So since I have that personality, then I think that I go through life with so much of what they say doesn't bother me, and which it don't. But what I'm understanding is that if I'm not tired with myself, I'm never going to accomplish the goals. Right. I'm never going to get tired of making a resolution and not making it happen. So, like I was saying, I think I battled depression so much in 2015, just being unhappy. And the reason that happened to me is because I was waking up knowing that I was supposed to be better. I kept waking up knowing that I have all this potential in the world and that I'm great. And I'm not being cocky in any way, and I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody, but I'm waking up, literally waking up knowing that I'm supposed to be further, knowing that I'm supposed to be progressing more than what I am. I'm not happy with what I'm producing. And I think that's the statement that I'm trying to make, is that I wasn't happy with what I'm producing.
Right.
So if I'm going to do anything with 2015 differently in 2016, I'm going to stay fed up, because as long as I'm fed up, I'm not going to allow myself to be what I was in 2015. Wow. Like, there's been so much things spoken on my life, and even if no one ever spoke anything over my life, I know that I'm great. You grew up with me. You told me a million times, like, you're smart, and I know that I'm smart, but it means absolutely nothing if you don't put it into work.
But you know what? Kay always said that about you. Like, she felt like you should have been so much further than where you was at. You know what I'm saying? Fine. She has always said that, and I agreed as well.
Mitch have always said that, and you have always said it as well. And
we always said we was gonna follow Reginald. We gonna follow Reggie Reg wherever he go.
Well, what happened is that each year I kept saying, "Well, I'm gonna do this differently. I'm gonna do this differently." But what happened is that I was too complacent in my comfort zone, because the fact of the matter is that if we take me and we take a lot of people from where we come from, I am further in life than where they are, and I have been successful in my own right. And what happens is when you get to the place to where you're comfortable, and you can look at other people and you can say, "Well, I'm further than them." In your mind, you tell yourself, "Well, I'm not doing that bad." But the thing is that in 2015, I realized that I haven't lived up to my potential, and in 2016, I'm not going to allow myself to do that anymore. So I'm just extremely upset with what I've been allowing myself to do. So like I'm saying, for the people who make a resolution, for the people who make goals, you can make whatever you want to make out there. But if you haven't get to the point to where you're tired of yourself, you're tired, and J Square brought up failure. If you're not tired of failure, you're never going to be successful. And that's what the thing is that, you know what? I focus too much, me personally, I focus too much on trying to make other people happy. Like, if you know me, you know that I'm a giver. Like, I'll go to the end for you. This year in 2016 is not a resolution, it's not a goal, but it is a promise. I am not
gonna do that.
I am not going to focus on trying to make everybody else happy around me. Because what that did is I poured out too much of myself, and I didn't leave nothing for me.
Too much of your energy.
So Colin Kai said, "I'm grateful God has revealed this to you. Now walk in it."
Okay.
Lady T says that I heard that. And you know, the reason this literally isn't about me. I'm talking to someone out here, or someone who's been through that in this situation. Taria T said, "Yes, me too. But this year is so more for about me." Now you're saying that, Taria T, and everyone out there is agreeing to what I say. But what are you going to do? Because we can get to this point. You can be tired of yourself. I just said I'm tired of myself, and I just gave a whole long speech. But what are you going to do specifically? And that's what you need to know. Lady T says, "I promise you, you hit home." And that's what I wanted to do this show for. I didn't want this to be a regular New Year, New Me. I wanted it to be, because we always say that. I wanted us to take away something from this show. Now, we all just said, everybody just agreed, and the hearts are pouring in. But what are you going to do specifically? What are your actions going to be? If you're fed up, if you're tired of not accomplishing goals, if you're tired of the failures, if you're tired of not making a new resolution, we're in this new year. What are you going to do specifically? And that's what I want to hear from y'all. That's what I want to see in the comments. What are you going to do specifically?
I'm just, you know what? I've been thinking long.
I think you should take calls.
Wow.
J Squared, J Squared, actually, I don't have the number for you to call in.
I know.
J Squared, you actually could have called in tonight.
I know, we did.
You could have called in. Give them 15 seconds. We actually should have took calls tonight. We could have.
Yeah, I'm just more focused on being a better person than I was in 2015. Like I said in the beginning, being a better parent, just, you know.
How do you do that, though? That's what I'm saying. Everyone has these goals. This is what I want to be clear to you. J Square say 5 times to tell me. We all created differently, Colin Kai says, but God has a way of making us uncomfortable to be used to. So this is what I want to do. this is what I really want to dig to. I want us, at the end of the show, I want us all to leave and say, I'm really going to do this. And I want us all to feel like that. And this is me, this is you, I'm talking to y'all out there. I want us all to leave this show with a specific action of what they're going to do. Because saying that, you said I'm going to be a better mother, and that's great. I want to be a better father this year too.
Right.
But what if you don't have specific actions, if there is no detailed plan, then the vagueness allows you to not do it. Because there's so much gray there, then it means that you have the ability to operate in any type of way. So there's nothing wrong with gray, but you got to have some black and white. So what are you going to use? Let's use the example, you being a better mother. Like Mo's a great daughter. So what are you going to do? What are you going to give Mo specifically this year?
Well, I've given her a lot. But I mean, she's very, very smart. Just read to her more. Just show her things that I've never, seen. Take her to the museum. Just teach her so many different things that I wanted to do as a kid.
Jay Square said, I'm going to really do this. This is what I want to encourage you all to do.
Want to buy a house. That's like one of my top goals too, and I'm gonna do that.
Lady T says, I'm gonna really focus on God and be obedient.
Yeah.
And that's a big statement, and that's a great goal to have.
Yeah.
But Lady T, let me challenge you and say that if that's gonna be your goal, because that's what I do.
Okay.
Lady T, if that's gonna do your goal, then you got to make sure that that's what you do. And being obedient is such a hard thing, especially when you're talking about God. So I think what you need to do, because I'm going to help somebody tonight.
Okay,
this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to help somebody tonight. This is the new year. Let me tell y'all something. This is what I'm going to do specifically. I am great at development and I'm great at training. So what I'm going to do specifically is I'm going to take 5 people. I'm going to take 5 strangers, actually. I'm going to take 5 strangers and I'm going to take them under my wing, and I'm not going to try and be like their light, but I am going to deposit something into these 5 strangers this year. And I promise you that I'm going to do that. No age bracket, but I'm going to pick 5 people, and I'm gonna pray about it. And I'm gonna let I'm gonna be led, but I'm gonna pick 5 people.
Right? Okay.
I am.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do some impartations this year.
Wow.
I'm gonna take 5 people.
Wow, I'm proud of you.
Taria T says that I'm gonna get fear out of the way. I'm gonna So what are you going to do specifically? Yeah. You said that... Well, I thought you said no Asia. No, I didn't, Cal and Nakaya. So, Taria T, you said you're going to do... you're going to get fear out the way. But this is what I want to know, Taria T. What are you going to do to get fear out the way? So this is what happens. When you're in business or when you're doing anything in life, we write what are called action plans.
Right.
And then there's something... There's something called specific, accurate. You have to, when you're writing the accurate plan, I can't think of the acronym, but you have to be specific. You have to be accurate, and it has to be something that you can measure. So this means that when you're writing a goal, SMART goals. There you go, SMART goals. Thanks, Aiden. I was hoping you was on. Okay, SMART goals. All right. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, accurate, realistic, and then a time.
Okay.
So when you write a goal, and we use it in business, but you can apply this to your life. So when you write a goal out there, because there's a lot of people who've been vague. Taria T is going to get fear out the way. Lady T is going to be obedient to God. You're going to be a better mom. So let me do some training out there. I said I'm going to lead some people this year.
Listening. Okay.
So when you write a goal, you have to be specific. It has to be something you can measure. It has to be accurate, realistic, and it has to have a timetable.
Okay.
So if you say that I'm going to be a better mom, this is what you need to do. First of all, you got to get to the point to where you write something down. Write these goals down. If this is going to be your new year, your new resolution, and you got something this year and you have a vision, that's great. That's what you need to have. But you need to make sure that you write it down. Put it in front of your face, and it needs to be somewhere to where you can look at it. That's what I'm going to start with. That's what I'm going to start with this year. That I'm going to write stuff down and I'm going to cross it off as I go.
Wow.
So you're going to be a better mom. I'm just going to use your example. You said, I'm going to read to Mo. If you're writing a SMART plan, this is how your SMART plan would look. And we're using Lola as the example. She's going to be a better mom. So her actionable item is that she's going to read to Mo. That's an action. She's going to physically do that.
Right.
And then she can measure that because she's going to say, I'm going to read to Mo about 2 times out of the week before she goes to bed. So now you can measure that.
So
now you can
okay.
say, am I actually doing that?
Okay,
and then
okay.
you've added the time to it. I'm going to make sure I do this at least for the rest of the year. And then what you do is you put a timetable on it. By the time you do a 30-day timetable, it's 30 days. How many times in these 30 days have I actually read to Mo 2 times out of the week? And that's how you create a SMART goal. And that's what you all need to do out there. It's very simple. So you pick your action. You pick a timetable and you make sure it's something that you can measure. And those become your goals, because when you do something like that, then you can guarantee that you'll probably, the probability of you actually doing or completing the goal is so much more than when, Lady T said, write a book, Reggie.
Then when you actually do it, you feel good about
Absolutely,
it. You know
because
I did that.
because you measured it and you track your progress along the way.
Wow.
So that's what your goals need to be. That's what you need to be doing when you're creating these resolutions and you are creating these goals. So let me ask you, what happens? So we talked about how to create the goal and everything. What happens when it's 3 months down the line and you have not completed your goals? What do you all do out there? Tiffany, Lady T, you're going to be obedient to God. Taria T, you're going to get fear out of the way. You created your actionable goals. It's the 3-month timeline now. What do you do when it's 3 months down the line and you haven't achieved your goal?
I feel like if you fell off, you just pick up where you fell off at and keep going. I'm not going to wait until the new year.
J Square says keep pushing.
Yeah.
You keep pushing. Yeah. But how do you keep pushing? People get discouraged, J Square. So what do you specifically do?
Reach out, focus more.
Reach out and focus more. I think Lady T just hit it.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something. We're talking about all actionable items tonight. Let me tell you something. So Lady T says reach out. And I'm going to use her because Jake reassess and make smaller goals.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are some great things that's coming in. I don't want to be vague tonight. So J Square says keep pushing. That's a very vague thing. There's too much gray in that. So if you keep pushing, that can mean many of things. So one thing that Kelly just said, so creative, I don't know what the name is.
Reevaluate your goals.
She said reevaluate your goals. You need to go, one of the acronyms in there was to make sure your goal was realistic. You need to look back at your action plan and make sure that you gave yourself a realistic goal. Right. So that's what, first you reassess. That is a very great thing to say. Reevaluate. Lady T says reevaluate what went wrong and get back on the right steps. Exactly. So reevaluate and reassess. That is what you all need to do. Look at that sheet. Those goals are before you. You wrote them down. Go back and look and say, where did I go wrong? What do I need to do differently? I tried this in 2015. That didn't work. So what am I going to do in 2016? Because I can't keep doing the same thing, because that path led me to the same way.
When you get sick and tired,
that's why I said you have to get sick and tired.
When you get sick and tired, you're going to think of a different plan to be successful in whatever you're trying to do.
And Lady T is saying some great things. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Lady T is saying some great things, some things that I really want to capitalize.
What did she say?
Capitalize on. She said positive people. And that's it right there. And before that, she said reach out. These goals are hard. You're making life goals. You're trying to change a life. You made a resolution. You've made people have made goals. So you have to reach out. You have to change your circle if you have to.
You do.
One thing that you have to do is you have to reevaluate the people that you have in your life. If they're offering negativity, it is part of life.
Yeah.
If they're offering negativity, if you don't have people in your life that you can reach out and help you put you back on track, then you need to go out and find these people. Because if you don't have these people in your life, your goals have become that much harder. Like if you don't have these people that can reach back and grab you, because every day I literally just said in 2015 I battled. I literally feel like I battled depression.
What did you do? Like, I know you said you got sick and tired of being sick and tired. So did you reach out?
I reach out.
You didn't reach out to me, really.
You always say that.
He never really reaches out.
We have talked, Lola. Like, let me tell you something, Lola. There's been times when you've heard like you've talked to Kay and Kay said, Kay, like, what's going on? I haven't talked to Reggie. Like, what's going on? And you've reached out to me. You don't know what that does to a person. That's sometimes.
I always do that, and it's so crazy because if I don't talk to him, I don't know. Inside of me, I feel like something is wrong, and I'm like, let me reach out.
Lady T says Reggie is antisocial, and you should know that
for 30 years. So I'm just like, I know when something is wrong, which is weird.
No, that's true because that's how friends are. No, that's how friends are. I am extremely antisocial.
Very.
I am really antisocial. And I'm not one. I hate that. I said in somewhere along the lines that I'm used to being the giver. So when you're used to being the giver and when you're used to being everything for everybody, you almost feel like that there is no room for you to have a vulnerable moment. So that's why I said one thing that
knock that wall down.
One thing that I'm going to change in 2016, and if I'm making a specific action, is that I'm not going to allow myself to put everybody before me. Because that's normally what I do. So I'm going to make a conscious effort to make sure that I'm good. I can't go and try to save the world and then I'm living in depression. I'm not going to do that anymore. It's not going to work. I'm not going to try and go and grab your hand, but I can't even pull myself on from the trenches. I'm just not going to do that. So those are my specific actionable items that I'm going to do. You know, one thing that, you know, we're talking about resolutions and we're talking about goals. One thing that I did not do this year is that I did not use the word goal, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with it, and I did not use the word resolution. I'm going to declare and I'm going to decree because I'm going to make sure this is a mandate. I'm mandating that this is what is going to happen in my life. And when you declare and you decree something, you're saying that this will happen. At no point am I going to allow this not to happen. Okay. So you have to make a declaration and you have to decree it, and you have to make sure that you understand that if I have to give everything in me, this is what it's going to be.
Wow.
Lady T said, yes, this is the year of abundance, Reggie. And like I said, I'm not trying to preach to any of y'all out there. Literally, I'm just telling you what I went through in 2000.
So many people out.
Carolyn Nakai said, declare and decree and put God at the forefront.
Absolutely.
And that is what you have to do. Lady T says you're not. It's the truth. Like I said, I'm not trying to preach to any of y'all out there. I'm just literally telling you what happened to me in 2015 and what won't happen to me in 2016. What I literally am going to make sure that I grab some people by the hand. But you know what I'm going to do? Another thing that I'm going to do differently. And I promise y'all, and I don't know if it's y'all out there, and this goes for family, it goes for friends. I'm not helping anybody that don't want to help themselves. I'm not doing that this year. Lady T says, I appreciate your testimony because you're speaking out. Well, thanks, Lady T. I really appreciate that. I have a bad habit. Colin Nakai said they're going to be mad. Lady T said, I heard that. I really mean that. I spend too much time trying to make people happy, trying to make people understand that, you know what, you can be better. You know what? I can help you. Let me help you. Come on, grab me by the hand.
You cannot do that. It's like beating a dead horse.
You just spoke a mouthful, Lola.
You can't do it.
And you know what? It's just in me to naturally want to help and try to save the world. I'm literally that type of personality. But you know what happens is that, let me tell you what happens when you try to help people that don't want to help themselves. You hinder them. And you know what? If you're spiritual out there, what really happens is that you get in the midst of what God is trying to do to them. So, you know what? God will be trying.
Please don't change,
Lady T, I'm not going to change. I'm going to be more wise and I'm going to discern more. Because what happened is I'm not using or I'm not walking in the vocation by which I'm called. If my calling is literally, if I literally have a calling on my life to pretty much help someone along the way, or if I have a mentorship calling, I cannot go and waste my time with people that are not trying to help themselves. Because what happened is that two things happen. One, I'm wasting my time, and two, I'm not helping them. So what happens is that I'm walking outside of what God has called me to do, and I'm hindering what God is trying to do in their life. So if I'm trying to help someone that don't want to help themselves, then ultimately what I'm doing is getting in the midst of what God is trying to do. God may be trying to allow them to see something, and here I come in the midst of what God is trying to do, and I'm trying to save them, and I can't save them because I'm not their God, and I'm not going to try to be their God. So, like I said, Lady T, I'm not going to change, but what I am going to do is I'm going to use wisdom, and I'm going to use understanding, and I promise you I'm not attaching myself to any dead situations this year. I will not, because what happens is that, you know what, when you attach yourself to dead situations, people ain't growing, and if you ain't growing, I don't want to be around you. And that's the attitude that I'm taking on this year. And the reason that I'm taking on that attitude this year is because this year I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. Like I said, I didn't make a resolution this year. I didn't plan any goals. I made a declaration, and I'm going to make sure that it happens.
Wow.
Yo,
All these cards, man.
You know what?
This is a great show. I always say that every show. Like, this is my favorite show. Oh, yeah, it is.
Lady T says, I love it, G. Nicole Curran says, deep. And you know what? I literally know, J Square says, Reggie's spitting fire. And I'm not trying to do that.
And just like sitting right here hearing my friend say that he was depressed, like, that hurts me. I'm trying, like, not to cry because I'm like really emotional. That hurts me.
And not, you know what? Taria T says, loving the show tonight. Thank you, Taria T. I really appreciate that. Yeah. You know what, Lady T, it wasn't that I was so much seeking into depression. I was at a state of unhappiness. And you know what happens is that when you're to that state, everyone has to go through something in life. Yeah. So I'm not telling y'all nothing about me so you can feel sorry for me, because anybody who knows me knows that I'm one of the most confident people around. But what happens is that people go through life. Yeah. So sometimes you have to speak a testimony because it'll help someone else. And the reason that I said that I was going to make sure that I shared that part of what I went through in 2015, because somebody else is going through it now, and somebody else is unhappy with themselves, and somebody else is fed up. But what I want to tell them, new to your scope, sister to friends, thank you. I appreciate you to join in. I appreciate you for joining. I really appreciate it. Taria T says it's definitely hitting home for me. The reason I really wanted to share it is because, like I said, I got to a point to where I'm fed up. And if you're tired out there, if you don't get to the point to where you're fed up, you're going to allow yourself to keep the same things to keep happening. You're not going to allow yourself to break free from that bondage. Because what happens is that depression is pretty much a bondage, and if you allow yourself to seek so deep into it, you'll stay there. So the reason is because I believe that everybody on this scope has purpose and they have vision. Exactly. And one thing is that you have to understand your purpose in life. I'm too great. My purpose is too big for me to be sitting in depression. And I'm not gonna. And you know what happens? And I always say this: you never know who's attached to your life. So this is really a reason why you got to stick to this new year, new me stuff. Whatever you say, new year, new me, new goals, whatever you're gonna use. I'm using the word declaration. The reason that you have to stick to this stuff, like you said, and I'm gonna use the example of Mo. I'm going to come back to that. It's because people that you do not know are attached to your life. And I say this a lot. You do not know who's waiting on you to walk in your purpose. When you walk in your purpose, there are people who follow behind you, and they can walk in their purpose because you said yes. All because you decided to be better. All because you decided not to sit in depression. And the reason that I'm not going to sit in depression and I'm not going to be beat by something like depression is because there's too many people attached to my life. I know the mantle that's on my life. I know the greatness that is on my life. I know the purpose for my life. And if I don't get myself together, those people can never come along. And you said that one thing that you're going to do is you're going to be a better mom. And I'm talking about, people being attached to your life. Well, Mo is attached to your life. So the moment you decided to be a better mom is the moment that Mo will thrive and be the best child that she can ever be. Exactly. Because you made a simple decision to say that I'm going to be a better mom. And it's the same thing for y'all out there. You, in this new year, make a declaration. Decree something. Make it specific. Absolutely. Make it something that you can measure. Make it something that is actionable. Because there are people who are waiting on you. There are people who really needs you to get yourself right before they ever get their self right.
Absolutely.
And
great point.
That's what it got to be
you
out there.
You on fire tonight, I have to say. Look, do I need to scoop my chair up? You on fire.
No,
I love that. I love that. That was a great point. I love that.
You know, I appreciate all the
You even helped me out.
Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate that, Lola. Thanks, I really appreciate it. If you're new to the show, we really thank you for watching. And we're talking about New Year, New Me. And we're doing a little bit of a twist on it. You know, everyone says New Year, New Me. The reason that we're doing this show tonight is because we actually want you to live the New Year, New Me.
Exactly.
We want to make sure that you don't fall into the cliche of saying New Year, New Me, but this year that it'll be something differently. Lady T said, see positivity. Thank you, really. I truly appreciate you in this broadcast.
Wow.
I really appreciate that. And you know, I'm really...
So many positive comments.
It is a lot of positive comments.
Yeah.
You know, one reason that I did this show, please be a motivational speaker, friend. You know what, Lady T, I really do not want to be a motivational speaker. That's not what I do. If y'all know me, they said it tonight, I'm extremely antisocial.
I hate it.
The reason that I even do this broadcast is because in 2015, like I said, when I got out of that point to where I said, you know what, I'm going to walk in the purpose that is on my life. I lived and I said, like Lady T out there said that she's going to be obedient. I literally said that I'm going to be obedient and I'm going to do whatever I have to do. And if that pulls me outside of my comfort zone, if that means I got to do some things that I got to do, that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
Because you know I would never do anything like this. I don't like to speak.
But when you know what, when you had told me about it, I thought this was so you, like it was perfect. You know what I'm saying?
It's perfect for my personality if you know me on a personal level.
Well,
but talking to people, if you know that I'm not an in front of the scenes type of personality.
Well,
I like to do stuff one-on-one. So speaking, you know,
and this is kind of out of my comfort zone as well.
It is because we're extremely shy.
Exactly.
But you know what?
I don't do it. So you helping me as well. I'm just like, I don't do this.
He is so true. Like, I'm extremely shy.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said.
And ugly.
Like I said, I'm going to just live. I'm going to walk in my purpose. I'm going to live my purpose and I'm going to walk in my purpose.
Wow.
And if that means I got to do some things that take me out of my comfort zone, let me tell you something about comfort zones. Nobody is ever made in a comfort zone. Nothing ever happens in a comfort zone. Once you get into your comfort zone, once you feel that you are complacent, that's the moment you better reignite your fire. The moment that you feel like you've made it, the moment that you feel like you've arrived, the moment you get there is the moment that you've lost your spark. You better realize, because that's what happened to me. And like I said, I'm literally speaking my own truth tonight. This ain't even about y'all. What happened to me is that I was so far ahead of everybody else that we came up with. And not that they were doing anything wrong, but you all always looked at me as the person who was ahead, because I've been managing since I was 16. I've been running people businesses since I was 16. I've literally been hiring and you know what, training and all of that since I was 16. So to the common eye, to the natural eye, it looks like, oh, he's doing great. And like I said, I am successful in my own right.
But do you think you got so caught up in saying, oh, I'm doing so much better than...
I didn't get caught up in it when I got comfortable with it.
You get comfortable.
And that's why I said the moment you get comfortable is the moment you better reignite your fire. Because the moment that you get comfortable is the moment that you start thriving. Because let me tell y'all what happened all the way up into that zone. Before any of that happened, I worked and I proved myself and I earned those positions. And then people started to notice and say, oh, that was good. Like even my mom and them, like, oh, like you're doing great. I'm so proud of you. And the moment that all of that started to happen, I said, oh, well, I'm not doing too bad for myself. Oh, I am making more money than the average person my age. Oh, I am doing this ahead of what everyone else is doing. And the moment you get there is the moment that you stop putting in that hard work. You can't allow yourself to get to that point.
Wow.
So look, it's about 8:50. I'm just gonna leave y'all with a few things. This is literally because I'm about to wrap up the show. Literally, but what I'm about to thank all y'all first time viewers tonight. We had a few first time viewers. I really appreciate it. I hope that y'all enjoyed the show. This is really what I want to leave y'all with. At the end of this show, y'all need to literally, if you go write down one thing that you're going to do differently from 2015. Make sure it is specific, make sure it is actionable, and make sure that it is something that you can measure. And put it somewhere that when you open up your eyes, you see that. Because your purpose is attached to that.
Put it on your refrigerator.
Put it on your refrigerator, do whatever
So
you got to
you
do,
see
but
it.
you look at it. Write stuff down this year, because when you write stuff down, when you don't accomplish it, it makes you feel it makes you feel some type of way.
Yeah.
So it gives you that extra push that you need. It's almost like motivating yourself.
Exactly.
Write it down, put it somewhere where you can see it. And once you do that, you declare and you decree that you make sure that that thing is going to happen. And whatever that thing is, you make sure that it happens, because only you have the ability to make sure that you carry that thing out.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna leave that with y'all. Like I said, thank y'all for joining.
Thank you so much.
Just as always, Lola, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Periscope, Twitter.
And if you're looking for me, you all can find me on Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, all under the name Live to Contribute. Share the post, guys. Like, somebody need to hear this post. Like I said, I
Yes,
gave a lot of
they
my
do.
own personal testimony, but somebody out there need to hear this broadcast tonight. Tariti said, don't take no more weeks off. We're going to try not to. But make sure y'all share
See
the
y'all
post.
next
And
Tuesday for sure.
we'll be here next Tuesday. And like always, y'all, make sure that you build someone up instead
Yes.
of tearing them
Thank
down.
y'all so much.
Thank y'all for joining. Thanks for all the participation. Thanks for the heart. We appreciate y'all. Great show tonight, y'all.
Thank you. Bye.